Hi friends, welcome to Stamp Chat. Happy Friday to everyone joining us. It's so great to have you. We'll get started in just a moment. I open the doors and let everybody file in a little bit and get yourself comfortable. That's it. Are we at the 4 o'clock hour or the 3 o'clock hour? Just a little bit. We'll just wait just a few minutes, friends. I wanted to go ahead and let you in so that you could get situated. I hope everyone's having a great day and enjoying National Stamp Collecting Month and all of the associated press that is coming out. In fact, if you go to stamps.org, you'll see a Newsday article featuring Stamp Chat and the APS and conversations with philatelists. So yet another media shout out for the hobby of kings and queens. Well, I think that that's sufficient time to let everybody in. Hi, and welcome to Stamp Chat. My name is Heidi Rhodes. Welcome, welcome. Our Stamp Chat guest today is Mr. Scott Tiffney. Scott's the Director of Information Services and the librarian at the American Philatelic Research Library. Before coming to the APRL 8 years ago, Scott worked with the National Park Service. He did a project for the National Park Service that involved setting up libraries as well as their digital presence for their libraries online. Tiffney started off responsible for 12 national parks, and by the project's end, he oversaw 31 of them. Scott Tiffney, like the majority of folks at the APS, has a healthy curiosity and appreciation for stamps and enjoys working around them. Scott likes to collect a little bit of early Canada and the United States special delivery issues for their artwork especially. Today's Stamp Chat is sponsored by the American Philatelic Research Library. Go figure. Do you have a favorite philatelic book and want to make a contribution that will support the APRL and provide a lasting legacy? Learn about the APRL's Adopt a Book by visiting stamps.org/adopt a book. Your adoption funds the continued and enhanced services offered by the APRL. And these include the digital reference library, actual materials that get to be loaned out, and philatelic research support. Visit stamplibrary.org to learn more about the APRL. You can also subscribe to the Philatelic Literature Review, the library's quarterly journal. Your subscription helps fund the library and all of the services that we provide our patrons. And we'll learn a lot more about the Adopt a Book and all things APRL in just a moment. Now, before we begin, we have a few housekeeping items to take care of. Today's session is a webinar, and as such, all audio and video of attendees will be muted and turned off respectively throughout the presentation. Please feel free to use the chat box to engage with other attendees and the Q&A box for your questions for Mr. Tiffney. This session is being recorded and will be made available on the APS YouTube channel, where you can like and subscribe for more videos. And with that, Scott, let's get started. Tell us about the Postal Symposium to start us off.
Thank you, Heidi. And first of all, I want to welcome everybody today to this session. It's a real treat when Heidi reached out to me to sort of have me do a little talk about the Postal History Symposium. I'm going to talk mostly about that. I'll also include some of the things that are going on in the library as we speak as well. But most of it I'll talk about the Postal History Symposium. It's a very special event that's happening at the end of this month from October 26th to the 30th. It's a Monday to a Friday. And this year's theme of the Postal History Symposium is Postal Innovation of the Classic Era, Evolution Leading to Modernization. Now, if you've never been to one of the symposiums, basically what they are we have speaker sessions in which people present postal history research, as well as we have exhibits on display. And at certain sort of events or certain times when we have the symposium, we also have dealers. This year we were planning to have the symposium here in Bellefonte, but because of the situation with COVID, had to sort of make a decision back in July to turn the symposium into a virtual event. And so that's what I'm going to walk you through today, what we're trying to do in a virtual sort of environment and platform for the symposium. So just to give you a little bit of background on the Postal History Symposium, it was a venture that was started between the American Philatelic Society, the American Philatelic Research Library, and the National Postal Museum in Washington. And it was a research symposium. It was first held in 2006. And at the start, it was held on an annual basis. And over time, it's turned into a biennial event, meaning that it's held every other year. And normally what we do is when it's held, for this year, it was supposed to be held here in Bellefonte. It'll be here in Bellefonte, say this year, and then in 2 years' time, it'll be at the National Postal Museum. And it was really the goal of the symposium when it started was to provide a forum for philatelists, academic scholars, postal historians, and the interested public to discuss and present research that integrates philately or the history of postal operations into the broader context of world's history. And basically what we tried to do when the symposium was started was to bring together not only postal historians and philatelists and stamp collectors, but also to bring research and researchers who are not necessarily philatelists or stamp collectors. And you'll find that evidenced in the speakers that we have this year as well. There are some very recognizable names that you'll see who are giving talks and presentations at the symposium, people who are philatelists, who are postal historians, who are stamp collectors. But what you're also going to see are people who are not necessarily. And two that come to mind are Tony Gallagher, who is a PhD student at the University of Stanford, and also John Lawrence Bush, who is an independent historian who graduated from the Ohio State University. And neither of these gentlemen are necessarily stamp collectors. In fact, both of them are just historians, and they're going to give interesting talks from a very different perspective. And so the idea behind the symposium was to bring those two worlds together, to not necessarily have just philatelists talking about postal history, but people talking about postal history from a historic perspective, if that makes sense. So some of the past themes that we've had for the Postal History Symposium, the very first one we had was back in 2006, as I say, and basically the topic was, what is postal history? But over the years, we've had a number of different topics that we've used as our themes for the event. This has also given us the opportunity to have sponsors, co-sponsors along with the APS and the APRL, the National Postal Museum, to join with us as sponsors for the symposium. And this year's co-sponsor is the US Philatelic Classics Society. They also joined us back in 2012 when our theme was the US Civil War. We've also had the American Airmail Society join us when we did our talks in 2014 about transoceanic airmail service. And we're always interested in inviting, if there are those of you out there who are part of societies or organizations that would like to partner with us for the next Postal History Museum or History Symposium, we would welcome your participation with that. So when the talk was originally going to, or when the symposium was originally going to happen, it was going to happen over the course of 3 days from October 29th to October 31st. And that sort of didn't work out as we made the decision to sort of move to virtual. We moved it to October 26th to the 30th. And what we're going to do in terms of our speakers, we're going to have 3 speakers each day over the course of the 5 days of that week, where we will have talks at 10 a.m., at 2 p.m., and at 5:30 p.m. And all those times are Eastern Standard Time. And we just the best way to sort of organize it. The reason we did it that way is we wanted to be able to space out the talks each day so that there can be enough Q&A to follow. Because really at past symposiums where the best sort of give and take, if you will, of ideas took place was following the talks when the Q&A session started. And unfortunately, we can't do that in person like we have in the past, where you could sort of, after speakers finish their talk, you could sort of take them aside and ask them questions personally about their talks. but we're going to have that built into each of the speaker sessions so that you'll be able to sort of ask questions of the speakers. On the list below are some of the speakers that we will have and the presentations that they will be doing. Our keynote address will be done by Scott Treppel, who is the president of Robert Siegel Auctions. And he will start us off on Monday, October 26th at 10 a.m. with his talk titled Postal Innovation in the Classic Area. And he will summarize some of the talks that you're going to see throughout the week and hear throughout the week. This is just a list of some of the speakers that we will have. As I go over, there's 15 talks in all, as I mentioned. But what I like to sort of group them in, there's sort of a subcategory, if you will. There are 4 subcategories that we tried to sort of group them in. And the first is modes of delivery during this era. So we have a talk that will deal with railroads, how mail was delivered through the railroads, how mail was delivered by steamship, how it was delivered by horseback, and also how mail was delivered in the intercity, how the modes of transportation in the intercity. The second subcategory I like to call the history of mail service itself. So we'll have a talk about the early American post, the early British colonial post here in the US, as well as the postal service in the Confederate era during the Civil War. The third subcategory that we can group these talks in are geographic. So we're going to have Ken Lawrence, who will do a talk about Navassa Island, which was an early US possession. We'll also have a talk about Hawaii and its early postal service. And as well, we'll have local New York and Pennsylvania Post talks as well. And the final sort of subcategory, if you will, of talks will deal with particular early stamp issues here in the US. We have a talk early in the week about the issue of 1847. And at the bottom of the screen, you can see Mark Schwartz's talk about the New York Postmaster Provisional. As well as speaker sessions, we are going to have philatelic exhibits. So these are exhibits that you'll be able to sort of click on, view online, download, print, but view. And these will be hosted by the US Philatelic Classics Society, our co-sponsor for the symposium. It'll be hosted on their site. Some of the exhibits that you will see were chosen specifically by the Classic Society for the symposium. Some will be in conjunction with the talks being given. For example, I just mentioned Mark Schwartz's talk about the New York Post provisional issues. He will also be sharing his philatelic exhibit on that topic as well. So some of them will tie in together with exhibits that you'll have access to during the symposium. There are 14 exhibits in all, and they all sort of pertain to the classic era as per our theme of the symposium. Some of the philatelic exhibits are listed here. Some of the names you see are very familiar. These again will be hosted on the US Philatelic Classics website, but there will be a way for you to click on the exhibits on our page and sort of go right to the exhibit to view them. As I say, some of these will be tied in with talks that will be given throughout the week. Some of them are sort of just exhibits of the classic period that are sort of important for this particular theme. So the main thing I want to sort of get across today regarding the Postal History Symposium, if you haven't already, we'd love to have you register for the symposium, and that's a 2-step process. Right now we're sort of nearing 600 people who have registered for the event, and we're very thrilled about that. But the one thing I can tell you, registration's really easy, it's free. You do not need to be an APS member in order to register for the symposium or to register for any of the sessions. All you need is an APS website login account, and that is free. When you log into our APS website, and I'm gonna walk you through that in a moment, that is something you do not have to be an APS member to have or to do. You can create your own login account, and that allows you to sort of then register for the symposium. So I'm going to walk you through the 2-step process of how to register for the symposium. And the link there is the link for the website where you go to register for the symposium. And then step 2, I will show you how to go about registering for individual sessions. So when you're on our APS webpage, For those of you that have done this before, you know what this is like. So at the top right of the screen, there's a little login that you click on. And when you click on that, you would just log in with your email address and the password that you've previously created. If you have not created an APS user account on the website, you just click on that login and then click on the register button in the box in the middle of the screen, and then it just walks you through the process of how to register an account with us for the website. Again, you don't have to be an APS member to do this, but this is the way that you would this is the first step if you don't already have an account with us, that you would log in and then be able to register for the symposium. So once you've done that, you will go to the registration page for the symposium, which is this. Again, I posted the link there at the top. So this is the page here. And if you already logged in, you'll notice at the top right, instead of saying log in, it now says log out. And the way we've designed this page is that if you are properly logged in to the APS webpage, that your email address will automatically be populated in the email sort of text box for registering for the symposium. So if you're already logged in properly to the APS website and you go to the symposium webpage, registration page, your email address should already be in the email that we're asking for at the bottom there. Then all you would have to do when you come to this page is click on the Register for Postal History Symposium button at the bottom of the screen. Once you register, once you click on that button, you will receive an email confirmation to your email account that you are officially registered for the symposium. And so that's basically the first step. So to cover that again, basically if you don't have an APS online login account, you have to create one. If you already have one, just log into the APS website, go to the registration page for the symposium and click the register button and you're all set to go. Once you do register and you are registered, every time you come back to the Postal History Symposium registration page, it will automatically recognize you as being registered. You don't have to sign in again. You don't have to re-register. You're already registered for the symposium. So the page will change a little bit. There'll be a little welcome message there at the top. There will also be a thank you for registering for the web conference. And you'll notice that I've shrunk this page down in order to make it fit on this screen. But what we put on the page are two really useful buttons. One is View Schedule there in the middle of the screen, and the other is View Exhibits. And what you'll see once you're registered properly for the symposium and you come to this page is you'll start to see a list there underneath where I've circled there. And that's the schedule of presentations throughout the week. You'll see that there are 3 for each day of the symposium, and you can scroll down this page. Again, this is just a screen capture of this page, but you can scroll through this list. If you want to jump right to viewing the exhibits, you would just click on the View Exhibits button there, and it will take you to where we have the Postal History Symposium exhibits. These are all exhibits that are come to us courtesy of the US Philatelic Classics Society. They are all hosted on their website, but you can link to that website from here. So here are the 14 exhibits that have been chosen for inclusion in the symposium. Each exhibit has the exhibit title, the exhibitor, and then a brief description of that exhibit. If you would like to go and view that exhibit, you would click on the link that is found in the title of the exhibit. So you see the blue titles here on this screen. You would just click on any one of those titles and it'll take you to that exhibit. So if I click on the first one there, it'll take me to the US Philatelic Classics site. And here's this exhibit. Now, there's a couple of ways you can view exhibits on this site. You can either click on the images at the bottom of the screen and go to a particular page. And once you're in the exhibit, like once you click on one of those pages, the exhibit comes up, and then you can just scroll through the exhibit as you would any other exhibit or anything sort of PDF. If you want to sort of be able to print or download the exhibit, you can do that as well. And I've circled the link there on the left side of the page where it says click for a PDF of entire exhibit. I'm not going to show you that now, but if you clicked on that link, up will come a PDF version of the exhibit, which will allow you to scroll through the exhibit as well. It'll also allow you to either print or download the exhibit if you want to view it at another time. So it really does give you a nice option. So there's 14 of these exhibits in entirety. So the other part of the process for registering for the symposium is registering for a particular session. Now, I know some other sort of Zoom sessions that you've done, or sort of GoToMeeting, which is what we're using for this. We're actually using GoToWebinar as our platform for the symposium. I know sometimes you can get a generic link and it'll sort of allow you to view multiple sessions. We decided that it would be best to sort of have particular sort of ways to register for each of the sessions during the week, all 15. There's no way to sort of click on one sort of registration and you're registered for all 15 sessions. We thought, since not everybody can attend all 15 sessions and not all people would be interested in all 15 sessions, we'd love if you were, but we thought it would be much more convenient for attendees to sort of decide on which sessions they want to register for. And we did this for a couple of reasons. One, if you register, and I'll show you that in a moment, how to do that for a particular session. When you register for a particular session, it's going to give you confirmation that you're properly registered for that session. And the other thing that we like about it, and a lot of platforms do this now, Zoom and GoToWebinar do this as well, is they'll send you email reminders. So, you know, a week before the session, it'll remind you, hey, in a week's time, the session's coming up. It'll also do it a day before the session, as well as an hour before the session. So it gives you those nice reminders. So if we had sort of a general sort of session registration where you were signed up for all 15 sessions, you would get all 15 reminders. You know, and we just thought that would be too much for everybody. This way it allows people to sort of sign up for the sessions that they want to sign up for. And it also gives those reminders. So it enables everyone to attend who wants to attend. As I say, we're coming up on about 600 registrants. There's none of the sort of sessions, I looked this morning, none of the sessions, most of the sessions are right around 100 attendees right now for each of the sessions. So there's plenty of room. We have plenty of ways to sort of include everybody who wants to attend a session can enjoy the session. And finally, what GoToWebinar does, and other platforms do this as well, is that when you register for a particular session, you get a unique link that is your link to that session. So we thought that was as a nice security feature as well, so that there's no way somebody else can sort of just click on a general link to sort of join that session. You have to, it will send you a particular unique link for that session for you to join that session. So back on the registration page, in order to sort of, I'm going to walk you through now how to go about sort of registering for a particular session. So we're back on the registration page here, and you'll notice in the schedule down at the bottom of the screen, we're going to pick that first session, Scott Trepple's keynote address, Postal Innovation in the Classic Era. And if you click on the little more details area of the session, if you click on that, it expands that area so that you sort of see not only a brief bio of Scott Treple, but also a synopsis of his presentation. But at the bottom of that section, you'll see a button called Webinar Registration. And so this is where you would register for this session. So if this is a session I wanted to attend, I would click on that Webinar Registration button. And it's going to take me to this page where I fill out my first name, my last name, and my email address in order to sort of have this as a reminder for me. And then all I would have to do is click on the register button on this page. And then that's going to sort of not only sign me up for that session, I will get an email confirmation that says I am signed up for that session. But it'll also give me those reminders leading up to the session to remind me of when the session's coming up. And it provides that unique link that I talked about. Another thing that's be of some value on this page, I circled it there in the top left, is it says show in my time zone. And this is important because for the first time, and I should have mentioned this at the start, in the past, we've obviously done a physical sort of symposium, whether it's either been here at the American Philatelic Center, or it's been at the National Postal Museum in Washington. And so it's an in-person session, so people either travel there or travel here to be part of the session or part of the symposium. And so now we're finding with this particular, as I looked over some of the people who have already registered for the symposium, we're getting people from all over the world. So it's a really important sort of useful feature when you get to this registration page for your session, that you can click on that link showing my time zone to sort of see when the actual session will take place. As I mentioned, all the sessions are on the main schedule or in Eastern Standard Time, but it might be worthwhile to sort of check when it sort of falls in your time zone. And when you get your link, when you sort of register for a session and you get your link, it will be in the time zone that it'll recognize which time zone that you're in, and it'll sort of put it in the proper sort of time of day for you. So once you click on the register button at the bottom of the screen, as I say, you're all set for this session. And if you want to attend all 15 sessions, you would go into each of those more details sections and then just register for that session. And that's really all you have to do in order to register for the symposium and to register for a particular session. With that, that's sort of, I'll take some questions and that afterwards, but that's really what I have to say about the Postal History Symposium. I hope you can attend if you get the chance to attend. It's going to be a really sort of interesting week and a really sort of informative week about postal history in the classic era. Heidi also asked me to talk if there's anything else I want to talk about in terms of the APRL. There's always things going on. I should mention a few things just off the top. I don't have it on a slide here, but we are still closed to the public. We're still we reassess that at the end of each month to sort of see where we are in terms of allowing visitors to come back in the building. I know some public libraries and other libraries in your areas and where we are sort of opening and sort of allowing for people to sort of make appointments to come in. We're not there yet, but we are sort of thinking of you. We hope to have you back in the library soon, and hopefully that can sort of happen sooner than later, as soon as it's safe to do so. But a couple of the other sort of happenings that I'd like to talk about with the library. I've mentioned in a previous stamp chat about an Adopt a Book program. And what the Adopt a Book program is, it's really a digital funding source for us. Basically, that's the link for the website, where you can go and you can donate money to our digital projects. And what you will get for that donation is recognition in the form of a letter that we will send out to you, but also that we'll put a book plate in a book of your choosing from our collection that will say that you've given to the program, that you've helped us with our digital projects, and that this book, whatever it may be that's in our collection, is recognizing that donation. But we've also decided this year, in working with Scott English, our executive director, and Aaron Siemens, who's in our development office, we've decided to make Adopt a Book our campaign this year for Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is an annual event that happens the first Tuesday in December, and this year it's December 1st in 2020. And for a $50 donation, we're asking people if they can give $50. If you can give more, that's great too, and support the Adopt a Book program. We also have people that are on board to sort of match donations as they come in. And so we'd really love you to help us with our Adopt a Book program. As I say, it goes to help with increasing our digital presence online. It's a sort of a general funding source that helps us with digitization, with scanning, with uploading material to the APRL digital database, as well as expanding the scope of our digital materials. Some other happenings in the library. I think I've mentioned in a previous stamp chat, and I've mentioned in some of my columns in the American Philatelist and the Philatelic Literature Review, that we're in the process of updating our online catalog. That's the catalog that you do when you want to come to us and search the library in our collection from your desktop or from your laptop or from your tablet. That's the catalog that you would search. We're in the process of upgrading that. Currently, we're on the InMagic Genie platform. We're upgrading that to the Genie Plus platform. In the past couple of weeks and months, we've been working on the serials module. which is the module which allows us to process material into the database, into the collection. Now we're working on the circulation component of the database or of the catalog. And this is the component that will allow us to check out materials, to assign sort of borrowing privileges to people and things like that. It's our borrower database, as well as how we check material in and out of the library. In the coming months or in the coming weeks, we're going to be working on the front end of it, basically how when you come to search our library, how that's going to look. There's a lot of exciting components that we can't offer now on our current platform that we will be able to offer in the new online catalog. So we're really excited about it. We're really looking forward to the full upgrade. We're hoping to have that done by the end of this year. We were sort of, with COVID and some other things, we got a little behind on sort of the upgrade, but we're going along well. We're working with a company called InMagic, or with Lucidia. And they've been great in terms of a timeline. We're sort of working through that process, and hopefully we want to have it up and running by the end of this year. The other project, and I mentioned it in connection with our Adopt a Book program, is APRL Digital. It's for those of you who may not know, it's our online library, digital library collection online. We're just in the process of moving that to a new responsive platform. I think some of you that are using it now, we have it open right now for free. When we weren't allowed to have people in the building, and when the health situation that's hit us right now, we wanted to reconnect with our members, not only our library members, which is our APS members, as well as just the philatelic community. So we've opened up APRL Digital. It's free to use right now. If you go to the library page of the APS webpage, if you scroll down to the bottom on the right-hand side, there's a user ID and a password that you can use, and a link to take you to the new responsive platform, and that you can go there and search the material. You don't have to be an APS member for that right now. We thought we'd open that up so that people could see it. But some of the exciting things that we have for that, I've been putting out sort of calls, if you will, to societies and clubs and organizations to invite them to include their publications, whether it be their journal, whether it be their newsletter, or other material, if they want to make that available to us so that we can put it in the database for people to see and use. We're very fortunate. We heard back from a lot of people after the virtual stamp show, as well as since, that we have 22 complete journal runs that are available right now, that are not available right now, but they're in the queue to be uploaded to the database. It's a large undertaking. Some of these cover several tens of thousands of pages, but we're in the process. We have a lot of these in digital form already. It's just a matter of uploading them and getting them up there. It's going to take some time. But again, this is where the Adopt a Book program is. We can sort of, if we do get some funding to sort of possibly hire digital interns to help us with that project, that would definitely sort of speed up the process of getting those journals up there. We also, after the virtual stamp show, as some of you that attended that, we had digital exhibits up online for that. I sent out, after the virtual stamp show, permission forms to all the exhibitors if they'd be interested in having their exhibits in the APRL digital database, and the response I got was overwhelming. People were more than happy to give their permissions to have their exhibits in the digital database. So far, I've had 74 exhibitors allowing us to put their digital exhibits into the database. And I'm still hearing from people almost on a daily basis that are excited to sort of have their exhibit as part of the database. So those are the three main sort of happenings that are going on right now. We look forward to having people back in the building again, but we'd like to keep you abreast of some of the things that are going on. I think I'm going to talk with Heidi, and as we get closer to the Giving Tuesday, I might do another sort of one of these stamp chats to sort of walk people through what we do in terms of what your donation is going to go towards. But with that, I'll conclude my talk portion of this. I'd love to open it up to questions if anybody has any thoughts or comments or ideas, any questions about the symposium or any of the other things I discussed today. That's my contact information. If you don't sort of have your chat or your question today, you can certainly email me, or you can call me. That's my direct number for that as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Heidi. If there's any questions that people may have, feel free to ask.
I'm muted. Thanks, Scott. That was excellent. And friends, we have such an intimate group today that if you'd like, you can use the raise hand option, and we can unmute you and you can ask your question live. I have to tell you, Scott, is it free?
Yes, the symposium is free. As I said, you don't have to be a member of the APS, but it's free to anyone who wants to sort of sign up and attend the sessions.
Somehow I missed that news.
Yeah, that was right at the start. So.
That is awesome, guys. That is really incredible. Fantastic. So if you haven't registered and you were hemming and hawing, well, it's free. So get on over to stamps.org and register now. We have a question. I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer it, Scott, but I noticed that page 1 of the frame 1 PDF for Gordon Eubanks 1847 issues exhibit is from his other exhibit. Will this be fixed?
Sorry, that's not following what you're saying there.
So yeah, someone is saying that he, from Gordon Eubanks,
Yep.
1847, that page 1 of the frame 1 is incorrect.
Oh, okay. I can definitely contact the Classics Society for that. They are hosting those exhibits, so I will mention that to them. Thank you for pointing that out.
Excellent. That's right. We have eagle eyes among our collectors. There was a nice chat, let's see, from Raquel. These exhibits are super. They show some items that most of us will never have a chance to collect, a tribute to the people who have assembled them. And thanks to the USPCS, so that's the Classics Society, friends, for making them available to everyone and putting them in PDF format so they can be downloaded.
And just in the same way, Heidi, I've had the opportunity, we've been working with practice sessions with each of our speakers. And there was a gentleman today, I won't say who this is, but he did a talk on the early postal service here in the US. And some of the items he had in his collection were just incredible. They clearly predate any stamps, they're clearly in the stampless era. And some of the material you'll see through these presentations or during these presentations is really spectacular. There are some things that I've never seen before, and it was really just a treat when we were doing practice sessions with some of our speakers just to see this material. So look forward, look through the list of, once you sort of sign up for the symposium, look through the list of presentations and presenters, and we would love to have as many of you attend as you can.
And there's no excuse not to, friends. It's free. So get on over to stamps.org and then while you're at it, go ahead and become a member. So
and I should also mention, if you can't make it during that week, just like at the virtual stamp show, we're recording all of the sessions. They'll be there on the APS website following that. So if you can't make it during that week, totally understand. Many of these, all of these are during the day, other than the 5:30 sessions, which are later in the day. So if you can't attend the sessions, we totally understand, but they will be made available following the symposium on the APS website.
excellent. That's your membership dollars at work, friends. So thank you so much. And you know that you can continue to support the APS through the Adopt a Book program that Scott mentioned. You can, what a great idea with the holiday season coming up. I'm sure that you can give the gift of a book, adopt a book, right? You can give
Yeah, we definitely like that. Yeah, that would be a great idea. I think that's why we're tying it into
Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday on the 1st of December. Great time to do that.
Now, I know that we may have some friends here that are interested. Are there any virtual volunteer opportunities for people to take part in the APRL, or we're not there yet?
We are doing, there's a couple of things that we have people remotely doing. We do have a lot of indexing projects that people do for us. And if you want to volunteer for one of those, so we have people indexing journals for us. And one of the ways you can do that is if you contact the library. You can either contact me at the email address you see below, or if you send in a request to library@stamps.org. We have people who have, say, if you have a run of a particular journal for your club or your society, and we have them index the articles in that. And there's a template that we can send to you that sort of allows you to do that. And you can help us that way. So you don't have to come to the library to do that. You can do that at home and help us index some of the articles that are found in our journals.
Excellent. I know that we have people out there that love to do things of that nature. So go ahead and use that email or call up Scott and see how you can lend a hand. I'm curious, I'm curious about our collaborating organizations, about the Classics Society and the National Postal Museum. So what's the relationship there other than we're all in stamps? How do we work together when we put this symposium together?
Well, basically how it happens is, as I say, the symposium is really the sort of brainchild of the APS, the APRL, and the National Postal Museum. And that started back in 2005 as a sort of cooperative sort of effort to sort of start a symposium about postal history. And over the years, we have been contacted by societies or associations that wish to partner with us on a particular symposium. And when they do that, they can, I mean, for example, this year with the Classics Society, we wanted to tailor the theme of the symposium to the classic era so that we could have speakers from the Classic Society present during the symposium. And so some societies or associations or groups can approach us if they're interested in sort of being part of the symposium. And we can sort of, create a theme that it will sort of help with their involvement in the symposium. So it's really just a matter of them contacting either myself or Susan Smith, who's my counterpart with the National Postal Museum. She's the research person there. And between the two of us, we sort of work out a theme for each symposium as it comes up. And if there's a group that wants to join with us in terms of doing that, then we can sort of, as I say, we can sort of work with them to tailor a theme that sort of will work for their being a participant with us.
The collaboration never stops, and nor does learning. Fantastic. So imagine that, friends. You're going to get all this incredible information. You don't have to travel anywhere. And it's not gonna, you don't even have to open your wallet. So what a great program. I'm so excited that we had this tell-all today on Stamp Chat. I think with that, we are going to wrap it up, unless there's anything else you'd like to say, Scott.
No, just feel free. As I mentioned, I'm looking forward to having people back come and visiting us. But if you have any questions or requests of the library during this time, there's our contact information. Feel free to contact us. We are keeping busy, even though we're closed to the public. We have a lot of projects going on. I've mentioned a few of them, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you just have questions or comments about the library, we're here for you. We want to sort of make your library as best we can for you and sort of make sure that it's meeting your needs. So thank you again to Heidi for allowing me to sort of have this talk, and I look forward to sort of having one of these again in the future where we can talk more about the library and some of its services.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you on, Scott. And again, friends, please stay connected despite our being closed temporarily. We do have you in mind, and we're working behind the scenes for you, as Scott mentioned. So we will conclude today's Stamp Chat that was based around the APRL and the Postal History Symposium in particular. And if you would, please thank me or join me in thanking Mr. Tiffney for his time, and thank you for joining us on Stamp Chat, whether you're joining us live or on the APS YouTube channel. Thanks so much for being with us. Remember, if you do see it on APS YouTube, like, subscribe, and use that comment box to keep the conversation going. Today's Stamp Chat is sponsored by the American Philatelic Research Library. If you're an APS member, you're able to borrow materials from the library or request scans, photocopies, or research for all of your philatelic questions. And is there ever a cease to questions in philately? No. To find out more about the library, visit our webpage at stamplibrary.org and explore all the services we provide to both members and non-members. For more Stamp Chats, visit and subscribe to the APS YouTube channel, where you can find over 65 presentations. Use the comment box, as I said before, to keep that conversation going. And if you have not subscribed to the APS newsletter, the Stamp Chat newsletter, please make your way over to stamps.org/news. You'll see that little icon for stamps. Stamp Chats, and if you scroll down, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, put your email in there and you will get a real nice, concise Stamp Chat newsletter every Friday waiting for you, full of encouragement and happy philatelic undertaking. So again, thanks so much, Scott. Thank you for joining us. It's Happy National Stamp Collecting Month. We'll see you at the next Stamp Chat next week. Take care, everybody, and have fun. Connect.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everybody.